In this video, I'm going to teach you the one and only requirement to manifest anything you want to come into your life. The one and only requirement, the only thing you need to know about manifestation and how to create large amounts of money to come into your life. Prayer is not so much what you ask for as how you prepare for its reception, just as it was stated in Mark 11:24 in the Bible. Whatsoever things ye desire, when ye pray, believe that you have already received them, and you shall have them. In this video, I'm going to teach you the one and only requirement to manifest anything you want to come into your life. The one and only requirement, the only thing you need to know about manifestation and how to create large amounts of money to come into your life. And this one requirement is how you prepare for the reception of your wish fulfilled. And once you master this one requirement, once you get this, once you understand this, once it clicks for you and you start actually understanding exactly how this works and how simple it can be, you will realize that once you learn how to do this, the subconscious mind of the universe has no choice but to give you everything that you desire. And this one requirement is you yielding to the belief that your wish fulfilled is already complete, that you already have everything that you desire. It's already in your possession, and you're going to yield to this belief. And I'm going to lay out the elements exactly how to yield to your belief that all of your wishes are already complete. They're already fulfilled. Everything that you want, you already have. And I'm going to lay out those elements of yielding so you don't have to force anything. You're not forcing a belief. You're not forcing yourself to believe anything. You're using the effortless way. You are yielding to your wish as already being accomplished. And this can be very simple if you listen and follow my instructions in this video. And the first element is right here laid out in Neville Goddard's Feeling is the Secret. The perfectly disciplined person is always in tune with the wish as an accomplished fact. And what Neville Goddard is referring to here is having the discipline to disregard your circumstances in your three-dimensional world that contradict what you're imagining and what you're feeling within yourself, because the real world is contained within you and projected out. So you cannot allow your 3D world to dictate your feeling states. You cannot respond to your world as if it is real. You have to have the discipline to overcome the circumstances in your three-dimensional world and look from within yourself and feel from within yourself and create your own feeling states regardless of what's happening to you in the three-dimensional space. You have to have the discipline to see your world exactly as you want it to be, regardless of what it presently is. So if your world isn't the way that you want it to be right now, you have to have the discipline to see it the way you want to see it, not how it actually looks in the three-dimensional world. So if you're making $50,000 a year right now, you want to be making $500,000 a year, you have to see your world this way. How would you act? How would you react? How would you walk? What would you be wearing? All of these different things. How would you talk to people? How would you feel? What would be your primary feeling states? How would you react to your world and the things that are happening to you? Were you this person already and you had shifted your identity and changed your concept of yourself? And you must have the discipline to overcome this hurdle of your world being the same right now, but you being something different. You have to look at your world now that you are already this person and have the discipline to do that. And the second element to be able to create anything that you want to come into your life and be a spiritual being rather than a physical being, you must understand that consciousness is the one and only reality. That ideas and feelings are facts of consciousness and are as real as objects in space. Therefore, never entertain a feeling which does not contribute to your happiness, because your feelings are the causes of the actions and circumstances of your three-dimensional life, of the world that you're living in. Your feelings are the causes of the actions and circumstances and events in the three-dimensional world right now. And what Neville Goddard is saying here is you must learn how to be a spiritual being rather than a physical being. You have to think spiritually and know that the three-dimensional world is a hologram. It's a high-tech simulated game. And you have to stop comparing things and wondering how things are going to happen. And you also have to have the discipline to do this and stay in the present moment and have the awareness of this. And even go into meditation periodically and then just reflect on these ideas. Even study quantum physics, quantum mechanics, and understand that the world that we're living in is just a hologram. It's a high-tech simulated game, and you don't need a logical sequence of events, and you don't need to compare things with other things and have to have all these things happen in order for you to be successful. You have to transition your identity shifting and your concept of yourself and be the person you want to be, and don't worry about how it's going to come. Stop comparing yourself to other people. Stop doing this. Just take that identity plunge into who you want to be, the person that you want to be, and be that person now, regardless of your outside three-dimensional holographic high-tech simulated game you're living in. And you need to live spiritually. Stop living physically in the three-dimensional world. Start living spiritually within yourself in the real world, because this is the real world inside of us is being projected out depending on your feeling states. So just know that consciousness is the one and only reality, and what you're conscious of is an illusion. And element number 3, to yield successfully to your belief or to the wish as an accomplished fact, you must create a passive state, a kind of reverie or meditative reflection similar to the feeling which precedes sleep. In such a relaxed state, the mind is turned from the objective world and easily senses the reality of a subjective state. It is a state in which you are conscious and quite able to move or open your eyes, but have no desire to do so. An easy way to create this passive state is to relax in a comfortable chair or on a bed. If on a bed, lie flat on your back with your head on a level with your body. Close the eyes and imagine that you are sleepy. Feel this. I am sleepy. Affirm this as you're lying on the bed. I am sleepy, so very sleepy. And in a little while, a faraway feeling accompanied by a general loss of all desire to move encapsulates you. You feel a pleasant, comfortable rest and are not inclined to alter your position, although under other circumstances you would not be at all comfortable. When this passive state is reached, when you find this passive state, you imagine that you have realized your wish. You feel as if you already have everything that you desire. And you don't wonder how it was realized, but simply that your wish is fulfilled. Imagine in picture form what you desire to achieve in life. How much money do you want? What do you want in life? You picture this. You create this in picture form as if it's already achieved. Then feel yourself as having already achieved everything. Thoughts produce tiny little speech movements, which may be heard in the passive state of prayer as declarations from without. However, this degree of passivity is not essential to the realization of your prayers. All that is necessary is to create a passive state and feel the wish fulfilled. So what Neville Goddard is referring to here as yielding to your wish fulfilled is getting into this passive state where you're sitting down in a chair or you're lying down in somewhat of an uncomfortable position where you're comfortable, but in most situations you wouldn't be comfortable. But you're in this passive state and you have blocked out the illusion of your three-dimensional world. You're blocking this out and going into this passive state and tricking the subconscious mind or the universe to believe that you already have everything that you've achieved. And this is the actual way to prayer. Because if you try to do this, what Neville Goddard is saying, if you're trying to do this in your three-dimensional world by imagining something without getting into this passive state, that it's going to be more difficult to be able to disregard the circumstances of the things that are actually happening. Like, for example, if you want to be making $500,000 a year, you're making $50,000 now. You have to disregard those things. And a lot of time, most people are too undisciplined to have this feeling that will overpower, the three-dimensional world where you can live and create this world that doesn't exist yet, and disregard the circumstances of this world until it happens, until you transfer worlds and just block out and overpower what the 3D world is communicating to you. However, a lot of times when you get into this passive state, what Neville Goddard is talking about, and you change your identity, you shift your identity, you change your concept of yourself, you create this passive state, and you imagine all of these things that have already happened to you, that you've already achieved everything that you want. What will happen is, if you land this correctly, you fall asleep with this new version of yourself. What'll happen is you'll wake up the next day and you'll find that you are now this person, and you're able to disregard your 3D circumstances. And this disciplined person is now you. You've become this disciplined person because everything has to happen a certain way in order to create what you have fallen asleep with. So the following day, you're going to wake up and you're going to go through certain things that are going to teach you how to be disciplined and how to get through these steps in order to transition and change your world. So whatever needs to happen now is going to happen in order for you to achieve these things that you've tricked the subconscious mind to believe you already have. So now you've done these things, you've done the work, you've fallen asleep with a new version of yourself, and now you're going to wake up and you're going to start disregarding the three-dimensional world. Things are going to start happening. I'm going to be more disciplined. You're going to be more consistent. You're going to be working on this more, be watching more, be reading more books. You're going to be doing all of these things that are going to lead you to that world that you've fallen asleep feeling that you are living in. You're going to create this new world, and whatever needs to happen is going to happen. So you have to look at your world this way too. Everything's going to happen just the way that it's supposed to happen when you have fallen asleep in your new concept of yourself. So when you wake up in the morning, if something bad happens to you, you can't view it as bad. Nothing bad is happening to you. It's happening because you fell asleep with a certain version of yourself, and this is happening in order to get you to your dream. Your desire is being fulfilled. Everything that you fell asleep with is now, everything that's happening to you is happening now for that reason. So you can no longer say that anything that is happening to you is bad. Nothing is bad now. Everything is happening for that reason, to get you where you need to go. So if you've fallen asleep with being a multimillionaire, having $10 million, and right now you're in $50,000 in debt, but you've fallen asleep being a multimillionaire, you may, and you land it correctly, you may wake up tomorrow morning and something immediately happens to you that's going to require you to take some action, to do some work, to do this. Some door is going to open, and it may require you to walk through it. And in this current concept of yourself, you're going to know that you need to walk through that door, and you're not going to view it as anything bad. You're going to view this as beneficial to you in order to get to your wish fulfilled. Because once you program the subconscious mind with a new feeling state of you having something, it's going to know it has to lead you to that destiny. The subconscious mind, or the hologram that you're living in, has no choice but to shift you to that world that you've fallen asleep with. Whatever version that was, or the version of you that has all of these things, that's the world that it's going to shift you to. And whatever needs to happen in order for you to evolve into that version of you that already exists in a parallel reality, you're going to go through all those things in order to get there. So it may be some things that you're going to have to do. You're going to have to evolve. You're going to have to change some things. You're going to have to be more disciplined. Certain things that are going to happen because that version of you that is a multimillionaire is already this person. So you're matching up those frequencies and there's energies, and whatever the subconscious mind and the hologram has to do in order to shift you to make you that person, that's exactly what's going to happen. So really the only element that you need to understand is changing your concept of yourself, getting into this passive state, and then impressing the subconscious mind with this new version of you that has everything that you desire already. But until that happens, until you learn that, the first two elements are going to be very powerful in moving you into this new version of yourself before you go into this passive state. Because every night you're going to go into this passive state. But who are you and what do you have currently? What is the version of you and what do you have currently as you're going into this passive state? So when you start changing these things throughout the day and start being more disciplined, and you start disregarding your 3D circumstances and you're now living in this parallel reality with the version of you that already has all these things, you start disregarding your three-dimensional world. That's when you're going to start shifting and changing your current concept of yourself in this world. And once you program that into the subconscious, then you're going to start shifting. Then all of these things are going to start happening and shifting into your 3D world that are going to get you to that world where the version of you that already exists, that has everything you want, is going to connect with you. You're going to be now connected with that being in that world that has all these things. But the first two elements you can start doing now until you start mastering the passive state and creating the feeling and imagining that you already have all these things and going into that state akin to sleep. And another really powerful tool to develop this part of the mind, to be able to get into this passive state, to be conscious but unconscious, but still have the direction of your attention, is Neville Goddard's reverse course that he has in the Power of Awareness. It's the reverse course, which I actually made a free PDF workbook on that you can go to my website, which is the very first link in the description. You want to click on that. That's going to take you to all of my courses. But if you scroll down to the bottom, when you get to my website, you'll find my free PDF workbook on Neville Goddard's reverse course. And this is absolutely astounding to develop the muscle of the mind. Very, very powerful technique and tool to develop this part of the mind, to be able to capture feeling states as you're going into SATs and be able to get into SATs and hold a feeling state and trick the subconscious mind, trick the hologram or the simulation to believe you are now this version of yourself. So if you click the very first link, it'll take you to my website. Scroll all the way down to the bottom and you will find the free PDF workbook. Or if you're looking for another free, very simple way to program the subconscious mind, I will put a card on the screen to one of my favorite sleep meditations that I've created that will create a feeling state within you as you're falling asleep in this passive state, and it will hypnotize you into a different version of yourself as you go into the subconscious mind. All right, guys, I love you, and this is the end of the video. And don't forget to give me one thing you are grateful for. Any other questions or comments that you have, leave those in the column box below. I read all of the comments. I love you all, and I'll see you in the next video.